All right. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the Town of Riverhead Industrial Development Agency Special Board Meeting on December 21st, 2022. It's 5:05 PM. I'd also like to note that we have a quorum present for this meeting. And with that, I would like the board to consider the agenda for this evening. Have you all had a chance to look at the agenda?
I'll move to that.
And you make a motion to accept the agenda?
Second.
Second that? All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry, who's first?
Tony.
And then I'd like to ask Lori to talk to us about the current governance committee report.
Okay. The Governance Committee held a meeting on December 13th, 2022 on Zoom to discuss two issues. The first was legal representation for the CAT Town of Riverhead application for financial assistance. Although several opinions were provided to the agency confirming that there is no legal conflict of interest with Nixon Peabody as transaction counsel, due to the perception of a conflict of interest in the community and out of an abundance of sensitivity to those concerns, the committee felt that engaging with a separate firm was warranted to advance the review process without any perceived prejudice. Therefore, several firms were researched, references were sought among IDA colleagues, and Phillips Lidl was the recommended choice to interview. After the interview, the Governance Committee voted to make a recommendation to the full board to engage Phillips Lidl, given their extensive IDA experience with similarly large and complex development projects, their cross-disciplinary approach across nationwide offices, particularly as it relates to the SEQRA process, their experience in configuring innovative finance arrangements for public infrastructure, and their understanding and willingness to satisfy the committee's desire for public information sessions about the project. The second item on the agenda related to a letter of interest received from Lenape for a continuation of financing with the agency. In this project, when the town board entered into a long-term pilot agreement with the owners, they noted that the length of support should not exceed 40 years. The agency only became involved and took over the pilot when the project sold and needed new financing, I believe in 2020.
2005, 2020 was our last extension.
2020 was the last extension,
Right.
yes, that's what I'm referencing. At the time, the agency agreed to uphold the initial intentions made by the town and continue the pilot structure as was for 2 additional years. At the meeting, the committee affirmed its contention that it is not its policy to finance a project in perpetuity, which is consistent with the terms of the original contract with the town board. Additionally, the committee did not think that the proposed investment warranted a continuation of a real property tax abatement, but would consider a sales tax exemption only. That concludes the report.
All right, thank you. Any questions regarding the report? No? Then, in that case, I'd like to ask for a motion to accept the report.
I'll move to accept the report. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. That then turns us to this evening's resolutions. The first one reflects a matter concerning a refinancing of 331 East Main LLC.
Correct.
Tracy, you want to talk to us about that at all?
So this is an existing project known as the Shipyard. It's the first boutique market rate apartment complex that the board induced a couple of years ago. They've completed the construction. One of the principals is here, and he can speak to perhaps the vacancy, but it was filling up rather fast. They need refinancing, and Terrence Walsh, our representative from Nixon Peabody as our general counsel, will explain the transaction to the board.
Okay.
Sure, thanks, Tracy. Yeah, so when this deal initially closed a couple years ago, the IDA had authorized mortgage with mortgage recording tax exemption on up to $9 million in principal. The company's now coming back to refinance that amount. Well, I believe the balance is now somewhere around $7 million. I'm not sure if they have a final payoff number, but they'll refinance the balance and then take out additional money up to $17 million. They are only asking for the IDA to join in the mortgage, execute the mortgage, not to receive additional mortgage recording tax exemption. And the urgency behind this, adopts a special meeting. So I believe there's swap collateral that was posted in connection with the initial loan that they will lose. I believe I don't want to speak for them. I believe it's about $600,000, that they will lose if they don't close this mortgage this week. So that's the urgency behind this request. So yeah, please let me know if there are any additional questions or anything I didn't cover there.
Any questions for Terrence? No. Do we need any further information? No. No? All right, then, I would like to ask for a motion to accept this resolution number 55-22.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. Okay, that resolution has been approved. Tracy, the next one is the extension of the project completion date for Island Water Park, 56-22.
Yes, sir. That Island Water Park was moving ahead so progressively fast when we, after we went into the inducement, that we thought the completion could be within, by the end of this year. But in fact, due to partly the pandemic, the delay stalls in the supply chain, and there are other items that, one of the principals is here, if you need additional questioning, he can explain further, but it delayed the completion of their project. They're asking for an extension of 1 year, and to not increase the benefits, just extend the sales tax, and to amend the completion date within our documents for 1 year. So there's no increase in benefit, and it's an extension of the sales tax so they can complete it. The board was forwarded the budget as well as the amount of sales tax they've already used and how much they have left. I don't know if there's anything else that could be added, Terrence?
No, I think you covered it all, just an extension of time to use the sales tax benefit and complete the project, but no additional benefits being considered right now.
All right. What date are we extending it to?
December 31st,
First of
2023.
Okay.
Right.
Basically a year.
Yes, 1
Okay.
year.
Any questions or comments from the board? In that case, could I have a motion to accept this resolution?
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 5622. Second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The resolution's adopted. And that makes, we'll turn to now the item referred to in the governance report. Consideration to engage transaction counsel, resolution 57-22. Any further comments beyond the governance report, Tracy?
No, I think the report stated it all.
Okay.
There was no conflict of interest, no legal conflict after several opinions, but the committee felt that due to the perception, it was in the best interest of the community to engage separate counsel.
All right. Well, in that case, then,
I'll make a motion to accept resolution 5722.
all right.
I'll s-
All in favor, then?
Aye.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Doug.
Thank you.
In that case, the 57-22 is accepted, approved. And that brings us to the adjournment of this public meeting.
I'll make the,
Yes, go ahead.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And that would conclude tonight's meeting. So, I guess with that, I can just wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a very good New Year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Same to you.
You as well.
Thanks.